Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to my channel. So today we're here once more because of Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds. And I know most of us are probably really tired of it, and I can agree with that because it feels like it is an endless charade, an endless level of tomfoolery. And the reason why I say tomfoolery is because of the video you're gonna see. Because actually, at the very beginning of the Baldoni Blake Lively case, I think the majority of us gave it a level of seriousness and gave it a magnitude. Because obviously, sexual harassment is no joke, so it was immediately a serious case, as far as we thought. Now, there are things that are coming out where I'm like, okay, so some of us already had doubts that this was partially a PR stunt or that things were being magnified so the public would lose their shit and make a big deal about it, and so the movie would get more publicity, blah, blah, blah. Okay. I saw this video and I've told you guys before, I believe, I've never liked Ryan Reynolds. Blake Lively, I've always been whatever about, but Ryan Reynolds specifically always hit me as a guy who tried to be funny, but ended up just being rude. You know the guy at the party who's making all these jokes, and he thinks they're really funny, but he's just poking fun at people in a way that's not funny, but cruel? Very that. That coming from me is saying a lot because I'm sarcastic and I make fun of people, but there is a line that you don't cross, and I feel like he's just that one person who's consistently there crossing the line and then turning around and being like, oh, but that's not what I meant. Do you know people like that? Because that's the vibe I get. Now, granted, there's a little bit of projection in what I just said, but let's watch this video together and discuss that.
Can you believe this? If this isn't screaming psychopath and narcissist, I don't know what is. But can we take a moment to cringe at this?
Question?
Oh, hey, Ryan Reynolds. Hey. How's it going?
Great. Why? What have you heard?
So, to be clear, right off the bat, I don't think anything crazy or bad has happened so far. I do think that this is cringe, and I do think that you're belittling your own partner's sexual harassment if you're taking the opportunity to make jokes about it when it's still ongoing. Now, granted, maybe Blake Lively said she's totally fine with making a joke out of sexual harassment in a case that's been dragging on for what seems like an eternity. If that's something she wants to joke about, maybe we need to rethink why there's a case if it's something that you're so comfortable joking about or having your husband joke about for you. To be noted, I use dark humor as a coping mechanism, so I'm not discounting that. I am saying, though, if I'm using dark humor as a coping mechanism in public with whatever audience I have, pretending I'm a celebrity like Blake Lively, you need to understand that that's going to be perceived very differently than if you're doing it in front of your friends, because your friends know your intentions, your friends understand where you're coming from, and they can, even cheer you up. If it's in public, though, and people don't know you like that, how are they supposed to interpret it? How are they supposed to know? That's what I'm saying. I question the motives. What you end up doing is entirely up to you. I'm just saying this will make people question your motives. And in fact, people in the comments, well, people are crazy, first of all, on the internet. We know that. But even people in the comments were like, okay, this isn't adding up. So what is this? Is this just basically a PR stunt? Which is already what a lot of people thought, which is even worse because any type of sexual harassment or sexual misconduct case is already so often not taken seriously. So if now we have someone taking the opportunity during an SNL skit or whatever show it is, I don't watch these late night shows. I don't think any of them are funny. But anyway, whatever this skit was, you're taking that opportunity to kind of make a joke at the expense of your partner, but also you, but also sexual harassment. You understand how this shit doesn't add up, because it's like, okay, so you want everyone to take it seriously, but you can ha-ha, hee-hee about it while it's still ongoing. I could understand if this was something from 10 years ago, you want to make a joke about it. It's up to you to make the joke. Again, it's completely up to you what you do. I'm just saying, don't expect the public to run to be on your side if you're out here on SNL being like, oh, what have you heard? That, as if you haven't been in the news, being also called narcissists and psychopaths, which I don't like throwing around those words, so I'm not going to use them. I do think both of these people, Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds, though, have egos that barely fit on planet Earth.
I'm so confused and uncomfortable watching this. It's giving showing up to the wedding that you were never invited to. First of all, why is Ryan Reynolds trying to sound like Jim Carrey from Ace Ventura? I feel like every time he does a skit, he's like, "Hey, I'm Ryan Reynolds. What if you are, what? Oh yeah, I know I'm currently like ruining somebody's life, but I'm Ryan Reynolds, so I just need to come out here and be sarcastic and make jokes." I've never been more convinced that Ryan Reynolds is an actual psychopath. He becomes more and more unattractive and cringe every time I see him now. Then you have Blake fucking Lively showing up with her spray tan and her boobs propped up. Blake's just like, "Hello everyone. Khaleesi's here. I'm here with my dragon. Our life is perfect. Nothing's wrong." Basically saying, no fucks given. Yes, I am currently trying to ruin my coworker's life and career. Hello?
Reynolds, how's it going?
Great. Why? What have you heard? Yeah, okay. My question is that, you know that the materials that they made the cone heads with, are those edible?
Edible? No, and based on them being made in 1975, I'd assume that they're highly toxic.
Oh, okay. So if somebody, hypothetically took a couple of nibbles backstage and, got excited, should they go to the hospital or should they?
Yes, they should go to the hospital right away.
Again, I don't understand the Ryan Reynolds humor. I've never understood it. It always seemed just very dumb. So I don't know, like, how ha-ha, he-he, his whole, like, what if someone ate one of those cones from 1975? But again, I think that there's a lot to be counted here just in terms of optics, which they both rely on and completely just don't align with. Now, I'm not saying that if you're in the middle of a legal battle, you have to not leave the house, not go to your red carpets, not have your fun, whatever. It's a different thing, though, when you start kind of poking the bear a little bit more, because already, as far as I'm concerned, anyone I've talked to about this, everything I've read online, again, the comments with a grain of salt, most people are automatically on Baldoni's side just because of this unlikable character trait that Ryan Reynolds has, this unlikable character trait that Blake Lively has. So already I feel like odds are against them, let alone when they do things like this. Then it's like, okay, so do you want us to take this seriously or not, first of all? Second of all, what conclusion do you really want us to come to if you're making jokes about something that's not even over yet? And again, those are jokes they can make, but I'm just saying I really don't know what the public is expected to do and how they're expected to react to any of this. And for me, honestly, it's becoming ridiculous because it's like, okay, I took this very seriously from the beginning because I read all the pages of documents, the like 86 pages of court documents, and then there were another, I think, 100 pages of court documents. I read all of that and I took it seriously, and then it feels a little bit like you're making fun of anyone who supports you or who gave you the time of day when you come out here and you're like, haha, hee hee, what have you heard about me? Like, what's up, guys? What, I'm in the middle of like a lawsuit and I'm trying to ruin someone's career for things that may or may not have happened, but now a lot of people will think didn't happen because I'm making jokes about them while they're still ongoing? Haha, hee hee, how funny. If someone can make that make sense to me other than, this is a PR stunt. But again, I've said this before, PR stunts also have to rely on a level of longevity because yeah, you're going to get people to talk about you for 15 minutes or whatever it is. But then after that, do you think you're really going to be taken seriously if you're going to be basically amalgamated with a person who turned a sexual harassment scandal into a joke on SNL? Like long term, how do you think that's going to work out for you? And I think that that's also the thing that people underestimate is like, yes, social media is currency and social media presence and viral videos, all of those, some of it is obvious literal currency. Some of it is social pop culture currency, relevancy, whatever. But the thing is, long term, a lot of this shit does not pan out well when it's turned into thinking about the actual moment where you're making this silly joke on SNL. But then long term, how do you think this is going to bode for your case? Because, for example, I'm not a judge. I don't know how the law necessarily works. But if I were a judge and someone comes to me telling me that they were sexually harassed, and then later on, I find out that there's footage of the husband of the person who was allegedly sexually harassed, the husband, Ryan Reynolds, who was accused of basically being a bully, entering into a project which he had no reason to enter into by editing lines, as we well know. If I were a judge, I'd throw that case right out, because it's like you don't get to claim to be the victim of something and then go on public TV with your husband and make jokes about it, then come back and ask us to take it seriously, but then go out and make jokes about it. Like, you gotta pick a lane and you gotta stick with it, because otherwise it's not clear what the tone is, it's not clear what your intention actually is, and realistically, you're just wasting the time of the courts, lawyers, and anyone who really is giving it attention, which I realize I am giving it attention. But the reason is also because this is neither the first nor the last time that this is going to happen. But hopefully, genuinely, I hope that people seeing how this is panning out realize what exactly is at stake when people claim sexual harassment, sexual misconduct. Like, there is a standard procedure, and as much as there's no such thing as the perfect victim, at the end of the day, we also have to realize that appearances do matter, as much as that might suck. So if you're out here being ha-ha hee-hee about something that supposedly was emotionally devastating for you, well, what am I supposed to think as an outsider? Anyway, you guys can let me know what you think in the comments down below. I just thought this was ridiculous and honestly quite embarrassing. Just, I think, to look back on. Imagine you look back on a lawsuit that was like a really big part of your career, because honestly, I think this is one of the times Blake Lively's gotten the most headlines in her life. So this is a career-defining moment, not in terms of her career developing, but in terms of her being super, super, super in the spotlight more than ever, in my opinion. And you're going to look back on that and be like, oh, so I made this allegation, a serious allegation. Then my husband went on to make a joke about it. And then I wonder why this allegation may not, be taken seriously later. Anyway, that's enough for me. You guys can let me know what you think in the comments down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. I thank you to my patrons as always, and I'll catch you guys next time.